Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Jo PDL-101609. This is a residential pocket door privacy set is what it is. The PDL, pocket door lock. The -101, the 101 means privacy. The 100, the PDL-100 would be a passage. The 609, that means two things. That means yeah, it actually means three things. Made of solid brass, and it's not magnetic, and I have no reason to believe that this is anything other than solid brass. That's number one. Number two, that it is in an antique brass finish, and number three, that it has a lacquer on it. Very nice color. It looks very elegant, very regal. I would say that it's a very faithful 609 finish. Very nice color on that antique brass. Okay, it's a privacy. What's nice about the Jo versions compared to other people's versions is that this can come out of the box working for either 1 3/8 or 1 3/4 thick doors, which is accomplished not only with the screws that you're going to get, but that silver pin that's there. If you were to remove that screw and pull it apart, there's a pin that's down there. And you remove that pin at the tip of my finger, that long pin, and insert the longer pin. Kind of study that. You can see that this pin is much longer. It's going to work on the thicker door. Not everyone's lock will do that. Kind of a hassle when you buy these and you realize, oh, my doors are 1 3/4. The Jo is good, handles it regardless of what you're going to put it on. Now this is a privacy. That means you're going to have a thumb turn on the inside. That's going to throw the members, throw or retract the hook. It will have an emergency release on the outside, not to sound facetious, but if grandma can't figure out how to get out, happened as when I was a child. Luckily, many people in my family are carpenters, so that door came off real fast. Couldn't figure out how to get out. That coin release is super easy to allow you just to take a butter knife and kick that open and pull that door straight open. So coin release, thumb turn. The edge is going to have that gravity controlled edge pull. Allow you to pull it out of the pocket. So it's all in one unit is what it is. That strike plate again is here. Let's go over some dimensional properties. Overall height of the unit, 2 3/4. Overall depth, 2.5 inch. That's all called out. Your strike, overall height of that, about 2 1/4. Overall width, 1 inch. Okay. Those screws again are included. You're going to need well, there's more screws here than you need. The two long screws would be generally used on the strike. The shorter screws are going to be for here and here. You don't want them to go through the door and hit each other, so they're going to be shorter. The screws that are here are machine screws, and you can open them up. I want to be able to show you what that looks like. Stand by. Okay, simply wanted to grab a screwdriver. As you loosen that, that's how you're going to accommodate that thicker door. There's a machine screw that's down there. When you loosen that side, is how you'll accommodate the thicker door. And obviously you're going to do it even on both sides. And if you need to get that pin out of there, let's just demonstrate it fully. No reason not to. That plate comes off. You've got that slotted hole that's in the tailpiece. You're going to drive that pin out carefully is what you're going to do, and then insert the longer one is how that'll work. It's very simple and straightforward. Sometimes hardware, even residential hardware, takes a little bit of studying. After you review it and do a reality check, I generally conclude there's really only one way it can best go on, and that's usually the right way to put it on. Having said that, this strike, you may have noticed, is not symmetrical. And when you refer to the installation instructions, which are below this video, there's a link to them. here they are. They look like they're from 1960 something, and that's because they probably are, showing an auger bit. I mean, how many people installing this that weren't born when Johnson was president have ever used an auger bit? Translation, it's a classic lock. So, installation instructions, I'm going to put that down because I'm not going to try to look at that dumbed up scenario. There's a better quality one that is below this video, as I said earlier. And getting into the installation instructions, you're going to need to cut a simple notch in the door. 2 5/16 by 1 7/8. 2 5/16 tall, 1 7/8 deep. And you're literally going to slide your lock body over that prep. You're going to pre-drill these holes and then tighten the screws in. At that point, then, you're going to prep the jam for the strike. And as you can see from the installation instructions, the short end is supposed to be towards the top. Okay. Now, what they're not giving you, unfortunately, is the location at which to mount that. Okay. Let's determine what that is. Now, admittedly, I had to study the material to determine what it is. And in essence, your installation, even though it's not called out on their installation instructions, and it should be called out, but here's the bottom line. The center line of the latch, so to speak, is the center line of the emergency release or the thumb turn. As measured from the top of the door to the center line of this is going to be the center line of the latch. Now, obviously, that latch operates a bit funny where it comes out and down, so I really wouldn't gauge anything off of that. But what I would definitely end up doing is reviewing it further. And upon further review, the center line of the latch and the center line of the strike, not the center line of this hole, but the center line of that 2 1/4, I think it was, is the dimension you're working from. Now, keep in mind that the dimension from the inside of the header to the center line of the strike is not going to be the dimension from the top of the door to the center line of the latch, or of the catch, because the top of the door is not absolutely flush with the header. So you're going to have to keep that in mind when you're measuring on one. You'll have to take a dimension based off of the jam. So if you were to notch the door and take your tape measure and bump it up to the underside of the head to the center line of the latch, and what you're hitting the tape measure on goes all the way to the jam, and then when you measure that straight down to the center line of the strike, you're in good shape. That's even proven by wherever the top of this lock case is. If you flush the strike up against it, and I operate it's going to be hard to show you a bit, and I operate the latch, it'll come out and lock. And that action gives you just enough room to clear the keeper, the latch, out of the hole up here and then catch on the bottom so that it's caught or captured. That would work as well. And it turns out that the center line of this body is the center line of the latch, halfway down, and that is equal to the center line of the strike, even though that hole is off center, and the hole's off center because the hook is not operating in a center sort of condition. Okay, its pivot point is not the identical horizontal axis of pivoting. That pivot point is funny, meaning it's not that exact center point. It operates in a, if this is the center point, it operates like this. Okay, and this is what's driving the catch. Far too much information, but nonetheless archiving the data for someone's interest or potential use or explanation. You'll mortise the jam for the strike. A dust box is not included with this, unfortunately. It'd be a piece of plastic that would close off the back. Don't mortise any more than you need to. Certainly don't punch through the jam and expose any stud or drywall. When I do these, I wouldn't use an auger bit. I would use a Forstner bit, a flat-ended bit that will give you an exceptionally clean cut. I might even make 2 Forstner bit cuts and then square that off. This plate is incredibly thin. It's probably 30 thousandths of an inch. Obviously, surface mounting it would not be very elegant whatsoever. I mean, it's 0.039 thick, so it's very thin. You're going to want to chisel that as best you can so that it's flush. Pre-drill the holes for the screws. Always pre-drill. Insert. The bottom of the installation instructions discusses how to convert it to an 1 3/4 thick door. We've roughly covered that. This lock is available in 605 polished brass, 609 antique brass, 613 oil rub bronze, 619 satin nickel, 620 antique nickel, 622, which would be a flat black, 625 polished chrome, 626 satin chrome. Okay, it's available in all those finishes. There's a link below this video to the template, which will give you the dimensional properties that we've already covered. Interestingly enough, when they show that template, they show this strike with this prep at the bottom. Don't install it that way. That's going to be incorrect. There's also a link to the product catalog, which is very handy because it will allow you to review not only all of the not only the pocket door locks, but the associated products from that subsection of the full line Donjo catalog. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Donjo products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog, which is very handy. You'll notice from there that Donjo is a comprehensive provider of many things trim and auxiliary hardware related, and if you know the name Donjo at all, you probably know them as a manufacturer of door reinforcing wraparound plates or latch protectors. But you'll notice from there that they are a comprehensive provider of all things trim and auxiliary hardware. I wouldn't hesitate to suggest that you consider them for purchases large or small. Here's why. Excellent value, excellent quality, backed by exceptional customer service, prompt, reliable, predictable shipping lead times, the ability to do the amazing every once in a while with an incredibly short lead time, and just all around nice people. On the rare occasion that they make an error, they without exception make good on it when it's their fault, and they're great in that regard. Great to work with. I only wish that they sold a greater diversity of products so I had more opportunities to use Donjo. If you have any questions on the Donjo, PDL-101 609 privacy door, pocket door lock, or any other Donjo product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.